Hello everyone. Today we will study the third chapter from Political Science of class 9, that is state government. In this lesson, we will learn about the nature of state legislature, the legislature assembly, Vidhan Sabha, and the legislative council, Vidhan Parishad, their membership and functions. The nature of the state executive, the governor, his qualification and functions, the appointment of the chief minister and his functions. Now, the Union Government of India comprises of 28 states and 8 union territories. Recently, in 2019, Ladakh and Jammu Kashmir has newly introduced union territory, and Daman, Diu and Nagar Haveli has been merged together. For this reason, we are having 8 states and 8 union territories and 28 states. The state government follows the model of the central government and thus have legislature, executive and judiciary. Legislature, framing of laws; executive, implementation of laws; judiciary, pertaining to justice. The state government has the power to frame laws on subject under the state list and implement them. Some states have 2 houses like the parliament, whereas some states have only the lower house, legislative assembly. Now first we see about the state legislature. The state legislature is composed of the governor and the 2 houses. The upper house is called legislative council or Vidhan Parishad. The lower house is called legislative assembly or Vidhan Sabha. The legislative assembly has representative of the people, whereas the legislative council has representative from various fields. First we will see about the legislative assembly or Vidhan Sabha. The strength of the Vidhan Sabha depends on the population of the state. The maximum number of seats of any Vidhan Sabha should not exceed 500 or be below 60. The governor can nominate one member from Anglo-Indian community if he feels that they are not represented properly. However, the number of seats in small state is less. Like example, Mizoram and Goa, there are 40 members each. The Vidhan Sabha in Karnataka has 225 members. 224 members are elected, whereas Anglo-Indian is nominated by the governor. Now next we will see what are the qualifications to become the member of Legislative Assembly. Firstly, should be a citizen of India, should have completed 25 years of age, should not be employed in any office of profit under the government, should not have been punished by any court, should not have been of unsound mind, should not be an insolvent, should possess the qualification as decided by Parliament from time to time. Now next it is term of office. The members of Legislative Assembly, Vidhan Sabha, are elected for 5 years. However, the Assembly may dissolve before the expiry of the full term on the recommendation of the Cabinet. Here Cabinet means a group of ministers. At that time, the state will be under President rules. If the members do not intend to continue in the Assembly, they should submit their resignation to the Speaker. The Speaker and the Deputy Speaker are elected from among the elected members of the Assembly. The proceedings of the House are carried out under the chairmanship of Speaker. He has the function of maintaining the peace, dignity and decorum of the House, summoning and postponing the meetings, safeguarding the rights of the members and casting the decisive vote when bills receive equal numbers of votes, supporting and opposing them. Powers and functions of Legislative Assembly. The first power is legislative power. The Legislative Assembly has the power to frame laws relating to the subjects mentioned in the state list. The bills have to pass by both the houses before they are sent to the governor for his signature. The governor may send certain bills to the president for his approval. The second power is financial power. The Legislative Assembly has greater power than the Legislative Council in the matter of finance. The financial bill has to be first presented in the Legislative Assembly and only then in the Legislative Council. Though the Legislative Council does not have the power to reject any financial bill, it can delay it for 14 days. If the Vidhan Parishad fails to send the bill within 14 days, it is assumed as passed and forwarded to the governor for his approval. The third function is administrative power. The state executive is responsible to legislative assembly and can be in power only as long as it enjoys the trust of legislative assembly. Each member of the council ministers is individually accountable and the whole council of ministers is accountable to the legislative assembly. Now the fourth power is electoral power. The elected members of the legislative assembly has the power to elect the president, members of Rajya Sabha and the legislative council, speaker and deputy speaker of the assembly. Others power. The members of the legislative assembly discuss the bill passed by the parliament when the needs arise. The reports of the State Public Service Commission and other reports are discussed in legislative assembly. Here it is legislative assembly is finished. Now next we will deal with the legislative council or Vidhan Parishad. The upper house of the state legislature is called legislative council. It should not be less than 40 members. This is the reason why some states do not have a legislative council. The number of members of Karnataka Legislative Council is 75. These members represent 5 areas. Some are elected from among the members of Legislative Assembly, local bodies, graduate constituencies, teachers constituencies. The governor nominates some members who are expert in the field of art, literature, education, social service, science, etc. The Legislative Council is a permanent body. Now we will see what are the qualifications for the MLCs. MLCs is the member of Legislative Council. First it is should be a citizen of India, should have completed 30 years of age, should possess all the qualification as required for an MLA. The term of office of the members is 6 years. Every 2 years, 1/3 of the members of the Legislative Council retired. The Speaker and Deputy Speaker are chosen from among the members. The Speaker assumes chairmanship during the proceeding of the House and ensure dignity and decorum of the House. Now it is powers and functions of Legislative Council. The first it is legislative power. All bills may be present in both the houses except money bills which as present first only in Legislative Assembly. After the bill is approved by one house, it is sent to the other house. The Legislative Council can withhold a bill for 3 months. However, when the same bill is sent by Legislative Assembly for the second time, the Council should approve it within 1 month. It does not do so. It will be understood that both the houses has approved the bill and it will be sent to the governor for his assent. Now that the process of creation of an act. Here, first reading. The person who tables the bill reads out the text loudly. During the second reading, a discussion can take place or the bill may be sent to the respective house committee. The committee deliberates on the bills and submits its report to the Legislative House. During the third reading, the House can discuss the bill orally. After the approval, the bills could be sent to the another House. If this House also complete all the procedures, the bill is sent for the governor's approval. If the governor approves, then the bill becomes act. The governor may also forward it to the president for the approval. This is the process of creation of an act. 3 steps: first reading, second reading and third reading. Now the next power is financial power. The Legislative Assembly has greater power over finance than the Legislative Council, which can only withhold a finance bill for 14 days. If it does not return the bill after 14 days, it is understood that both the houses have approved the bill and it is sent to the governor for his approval. Now the third power is administrative power. The Legislative Council does not have much control over administration. It can obtain information by posing questions to ministers. If the questions are not answered properly, it can only insist on the minister's resignation but cannot move a non-confidence motion. It is next, discretion powers. The Legislative Council carries on debates about the government policies, programs, decisions and acts. As this is the House of Elders, the debates are carried on in a very serious manner. Here we have completed about the state legislature. In our next video we will deal with the state executive. Hope it is clear for you. If you are having any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you.